sure what the day is, but whatever day it is, I'll post it on the channel the day that I filmed this. And I kind of like want to talk about the George Floyd incident. Not what happened with the officers, because we all know what happened, but more so on like the collective's involvement with the protesting. Now I get it and I understand like the anger and the frustration, but because there's so many people involved in like protesting, we have to like, you gotta think. You gotta think about who you're around, who's involved, and what kind of energy you're going to put into these protestings. And when you're out there protesting, you gotta come in a peaceful manner. And like I said, I get it. I get with the anger and the frustration, but that doesn't solve anything. It doesn't solve nothing. You're there to protest because you have freedom of speech, basically. And you have that right to express yourself and let the government know, like, this is how we're feeling. But the looting and the robbing the stores is a little bit too much. You gotta think. You gotta think about what you're doing. You gotta think. You gotta let these people know, like, number one, our main focus is on the four officers that did what they did to this guy. And as a collective, because we're all feeling emotionally involved in it at this point, what can we do as far as justice goes? Not only for George Floyd, but also for people around the world. So, the best thing that you can do from like my experience, because I have conversations with a lot of my girlfriends that are born and raised in Yonkers, and we sit on YouTube, we chit chat, and we have peaceful conversations. So, my advice would be to, before you go into these protests, to sit with each other, tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend, like, look, when we get involved in these protests, can we please not bring no bullish in it? Can we come with peace and with unity and collaborate on a level that will justify the situation? Because you got to understand, your actions from the cause has a huge, profound, that's going to affect your environment. It's going to affect your family, friend, and foe. It's just going to just shift everything. And with that shift comes a huge responsibility. And the reason why I'm saying that, because as people of color, brown skin, dark skin, light skin, the media is not your friend. So when you are going into these stores and you're looting and you're robbing, your face is being shown in the media, regardless of what type of mask. You're exposing yourself, and not only are you exposing yourself, but you're exposing, in their eyes, this is what we all about, when that's not what we all about. We have to like really take the time out to understand what we are dealing with. And we gotta understand when we're being set up. And when we are being set up, what kind of direction can we take? What kind of approach can we take to? We need to understand or understand this situation. We need to collaborate better. We need to like sit around and maybe have a group conversation and how we're gonna, you know, approach what kind of actions are we bringing, what kind of energy are we giving this. I mean, there's situations where I've been in where I've been really upset, I've been really mad, but I always take the time out to think and say, okay, if I do A, B, and C, what are the consequences for A, B, and C? And not only that, what kind of situation am I putting myself in based off of those actions that I have picked? So we gotta come to understand that. We gotta like, there's a lot we gotta do. There's a lot we gotta do. And then on top of that, the whole situation with the protesting in Minnesota, where it all started, in the end, when the looting started, everybody's got to understand that the majority of the stores that were looted and robbed were in low poverty areas. Like there's a Save a Lot, there's a Dollar Tree. I think there was a Dollar Tree. People got to understand these stores are low income stores that are built in these areas for the low income poverty to go and shop. So when you are looting and robbing these stores, you are taking away from the residents that live in these areas that are low income. That's not fair. That's not fair at all. And it's like, what are we gonna do? Where are we gonna go shop? Everything's taken. Not a lot of people in those areas have cars or any type of transportation where they can go out and about and go shop other places. That's why those stores are pit there. So now that those stores have been highly looted and robbed, it's like, where are they gonna go? We got to take the time out to think about that. There's a lot that we have to do, not just we, but everybody, maybe in this country, the US, or outside of the country, to do. I mean, you got to make that better decisions. You got to also understand, like, the communities, not all communities, but some of the communities that are being looted. You got to take the time out to say, okay, what am I doing? Is this a decision that I want to do? What kind of community am I in? I'm just saying, like at the end of the day, this is just my opinion, and this is just, a small little bit of advice to give out there. And then also too, like, people work hard. Not everybody involved has something to do just to four police officers. But there are hardworking people out there. They don't want to get their businesses looted and robbed. I know I wouldn't. So, just think about what you're doing, who you with. Also, definitely think about who you with, because not everybody has the same issues or the same energy on how they're going to approach these protests. Not everybody thinks the same. Not every thinks the same way. Not everybody thinks the same. Not everybody's going to have the same mindset when they approach these protests. So you got to understand who you dealing with, what kind of emotions or attitudes they have. Um, is this person safe to be around? Because I have friends that are protesting in New York, and they're careful on who they protesting with and what type of energy they're bringing in. Because a lot of my friends are not with the let's go hijack a store or let's go and burn a police car. Like, how can I say, like, you can support this situation with George Floyd. You can support it. Everybody has all different types of ways to support it. You don't have to protest just to support, or you don't have to like do a blog to support it. If you don't want to look at the video of what happened, you don't have to look at it. You can support them and know what happened that day. There's all different types of ways to support the situation and what happened. And just, be safe. Go at it in a safely manner. I mean, but at this point, we have to like really like just be aware of the situation, be aware of the media, be aware of the news, be aware of the situation. Take our time out to like really like pay attention, pay really close attention, study it, and before you go out there, how we gonna handle the situation. Because if you want to basically send a message to your government to let them know, like, we're upset. It's okay. Yeah, we are upset. Everybody's upset what happened. You know, let your government know without the violence. Let your government, there's so many, how you say, there's so many people that got hurt or murdered by the police. I mean, you got like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, you got Trayvon. These people were either set up or they were either murdered by the police. You even got, and a lot of people don't know about it, there's this group of people that I researched a long time ago. They're called the Move. Um, how you say it? They were called the Move. It was a group of African Americans in Philadelphia that had this organization. And they were also involved in like police brutality. Then you had like a lot of other police brutalities that went on in the US. So I would study that. I would study the history of it, and I would say, what is it that we did? Or what is it that we did not do that we need to do right now to correct the situation? How can we approach the government or let the government hear our voice? And to be honest, like in my opinion, I think violence is not the way to go. I think that if you want to let the government hear you and you want to approach it, I would approach it without violence. Violence is not going to cut it. It's not going to cut it at all. It's not going to help the situation. It's just going to make it worse. It's just going to keep repeating itself over and over again. And and it keeps repeating itself. It repeated itself again. So, I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot going on, you know. And then people also got to know, like, the energy that you're putting into it as a collective. You know, not only the energy, but you got to understand, like, with the protests, what I see is two different groups. You have a group of people that are approaching it in a peaceful manner, and then you have a group of people that are approaching it in a violent manner. And one is going to conquer one, and the media is going to focus on that. And right about now, what I see is slowly the media focusing more on the violent part of the protest. And that is what you don't want. You don't want that. You want them to focus more on the peaceful aspect of the protest so they can understand, like, okay, everybody is serious. They want to see a change, they want to make a change, and we need to make a change, and we are going to make a change, no doubt about that. And then also, like I said earlier, before you go into these protests, talk to a friend, to have that friend talk to a friend, to let that friend know, to tell that friend, to let that friend, and let that friend, and let that friend, know, like, let's go, let's do these protests, let's support in a peaceful manner, and let's not bring any bullshit in the situation. And that is that. So that way you can be heard. You can let the government know what you got going on and what you want done. And these protests can go on and on. But I would make a change. I would definitely make a change. I would try to, like, my best to do away with the violence. The violence is not going to help. They're just going to focus on it. And the media is just going to turn it around, and they're just going to make the situation look very bad. Look very bad. So you just got to go in with a different type of mindset, and don't take away from the situation that happened with George Floyd and the police officers, the four police officers. Keep your focus on the George Floyd protest and the officers, not, your communities and the stores that are in your communities that you're shopping at, you know, or any other activities going on in the community. And that's about it. That's all I have. Yep, that's all I have. And it's nice and it's beautiful out. It's very beautiful out. And I'm in Valley Forge. I like this part. It's very pretty. It's very pretty. And the skies are clear. So, yeah. So I hope I said everything. I try to be positive the best way that I can. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. Everybody has frustration and anger inside, but you gotta know, like, what type of anger you have brewing inside of you at that moment. So that way, dealing with the situation you're dealing with, you don't bring that type of negative energy into that forefront. Take the time out, cool down, do some woosah, you know, whatever it is you need to do to calm down, meditate, listen to some music before you enter into that situation, because every situation is a different paradigm. And then also, like, our planet is going through a shift. It's going through a huge shift. The energy is different. The energy is more stronger. It's more powerful, and it's gonna take a lot to harness that. And then on top of that, we got more eclipses coming in, entering into the atmosphere with more energy, you know, and that brings in chaos energy. So you gotta understand what type of energy you're harnessing from the planet, and you gotta know what you're dealing with. You gotta understand what you're dealing with. What is this thing we're dealing with? Because everybody's like acting out. Everybody's acting out. It's because of the shift. We have brand new energy on the planet. And a lot of people don't know how to harness that energy, but you're gonna have to like figure it out. And violence is not the way to go. Think about it, use your brain, you know, gain some knowledge, gain some wisdom, study everything that's going on. Study the media, study all the different events that happen with police brutality. Think back, also understand like what was it that hasn't changed? What is it that we need to do to make a change? What is it that we need to do in our community that's going to make a change? You know, what is it with the people we need to do or understand to make a change? Just you got to deeply think about these things and understand these things. Like deeply, you got to go in. You got to go to the root of it to understand what it is that you're thinking about. You got to dig deep in this animal and understand like what is it that we're dealing with, so that way you don't make the same mistakes over and over again. Okay? So with that said, thank you, and I'll try to touch more on the situation and give my advice and opinions about it.